Yo people, so this video carries on from my last video and goes into further depth of what the last video is talking about. So there's this guy, as you can see here, Richard Casaro. Now, I've known about this guy for years, and he is the one that alerted me to the God Self icon, which is what I referred to in the last video. But I always presumed he's a Freemason, and because of this website, which as you can see up there where it says contact, the Freemason symbol, I still suggest he is a Freemason. But if you watch this video and he drops the truth, it'll awaken to what has really been going on, or what should I say, what I really believe has been going on. So as you can see here, pagan god self icon found worldwide, rewrites history, reveals lost golden age. So this is the god self icon which I referred to in my last video. As you can see, Peru, Afghanistan, Egypt, Colombia, China, India, Nigeria, Spain, Iraq, Greece, etc., etc. So then, as you can see, it says here, did a golden age of humanity once exist in our remote past, as the Greeks, Hindus and others claimed, a kind of Tower of Babel era when the world was one speech and one tongue? Was this icon, along with the spiritual wisdom it signifies, inherited from this golden age? So in my previous video, I was talking about the triptych and how these triptychs were found in all the ancient civilizations. And if you see here, like the pyramids, the presence of these triptych temples worldwide throws enormous weight behind the Atlantis theory. The idea that civilization has much older roots than presently accepted by science, that there is a major forgotten episode in human history, that advanced ancient culture once flourished but was destroyed in a cataclysm, and that history's first known cultures were inheritors of its legacy. So we're told that Atlantis is mythology, and in the mythology it said Atlantis was a mid-Atlantic continent that suddenly sunk into the ocean. Mythology or reality? And then it says here, to the Victorians it seemed inconceivable that these similar societies could have evolved separately. It was more logical to think that they all evolved from the same parent source, Atlantis. Then it says here, the universal religion of the triptych was contained and kept alive in what modern scholars call the ancient mystery schools. Held in the highest secrecy and reverence, the teachings of the mystery schools were said to contain the secrets of the universe and the keys to great and magical practices. Members of the mystery schools were endowed with extraordinary insight and superhuman qualities and abilities. Forefathers of modern Western thought, Homer, Pythagoras, Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle, were initiates of the mysteries who changed history with their philosophies and advanced knowledge. And then it says here, it was during this era that a powerful secret society called the Masonic Fraternity, the Freemasons, stepped onto the stage of history and began what would become their triumphant quest to keep the details of the mystery school teachings alive and pass the torch on to a new generation. Commissioned by the Church to build Europe's Gothic cathedrals, the Freemasons secretly encoded the triptych's wisdom into the facades of churches, castles, cathedrals, stone landmarks, reliefs, monuments, and statues where it remains concealed today. Now look at this. In fact, all the great secret societies, before they were taken over in modern times and co-opted for nefarious purposes, which many are being used for today, once shared the same universal religion of the triptych. Hence, the universality of the triptych entrance. We'll also see how the Masonic fraternity is no longer a true repository of the triptych universal religion, sacred science, wisdom, having lost its original purpose, but does still hold the lost wisdom in its symbolism, ceremony, and ritual. As a result, few Freemasons and even fewer Westerners know of the existence of the triptych sacred science. It is an enlightening and empowering tradition that enables humans to excel and reach seemingly superhuman levels of accomplishment. It's no coincidence that Freemasonry has included many famous and world-changing men, including Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Voltaire, and Mozart. He then goes to talk about the Rebus. And as you can see here, the Rebus, the first human being, perfect and divine. An occult tradition holds that the Rebus was the first human being, perfect and divine. Unlike us, the Rebus was fully conscious of its own inner divine nature. The Rebus knew that its inner divine nature was different than its outer temporary human shell. This knowing or gnosis made the Rebus godlike, or rather made the Rebus conscious of its own godlike nature. But then something happened and the Rebus fell into becoming who we are today. So this is an image of the Rebus, as you can see. One being with two heads. One head, the feminine, the moon. One, the masculine, the sun. And as you can see here, this is where the Freemasons have taken their Masonic square and compass from. So look at this. Think about this for a moment. We know we are human, of course. We see this in the mirror each day, but divine too. Are we really divine, eternal, immortal, as well as human, temporary, mortal? The answer is yes. Man is a combination of human, moon, and divine, the sun. And then look at this. The act of awakening of our inner self by reconciling the opposites, a spiritual practice that once bound the Masonic Brotherhood together, was symbolized in a Masonic art by a giant eye symbol, the third eye. One of the great lost secrets of Freemasonry is that we each have a third eye hidden in our foreheads, and this third eye can be activated by each one of us. It's done when we balance our twin solar and lunar halves. Opening the eye allows us to look inward and see our inner soul, or inner God self. The Western religions, beginning with the Jewish strain, have distorted the formula by externalizing divinity and eternity. They have turned the ancient God within images inside out. We now worship something external. As a result, we no longer believe, as for example the ancient Egyptians believed, that the omnipotent and the omniscient powers of divinity and eternity apply to ourselves, reside within ourselves. We have become completely blind to our God self, the eternal part of us, the ancients symbolized by the religious icon, the part that was never born and never dies. And as you can see here, remember who you are by striking the balance of opposites. The pose urges the viewer to die to your lower self and realize the eternal and divine life, the Ankh, within you, and then you will never die. This was the essence of Egypt's religion.